What is going on, guys? Don checking in. Welcome to Mint, where we bring nursing to you. So today we're going to talk about the easiest way to do your junctional rhythms. But if you haven't already, I highly recommend that you check out our EKG videos. That will really help you a lot. So I'm going to link it down below. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get going. Alright guys, today we are going to talk about junctional rhythms. We are going to talk about the basic about this dysrhythmia, what you need to know for you to interpret your strips. But before anything else, we are going to have a quick review about the conduction system of the heart and the inherent heart rates. Basically, the conduction system of the heart is pretty much these special cardiac cells right here that are responsible in conducting signals that cause our heart to contract. The first special cell is called the SA node or the sinoatrial node. This is also known as the natural pacemaker of the heart because this is where the beginning of the conduction takes place. So from the SA node, the conduction system goes to the AV node right over here, or the atrioventricular node. This is also known as the gatekeeper of the heart because it gets to decide what impulse to let through. If the SA node generates a weak impulse or it doesn't fire at all, the AV node will perceive that and will decide not to let that impulse go through. And instead, it conducts its own impulse. So from the AV node, it goes through the single structure right here called the bundle of His. From the bundle of His, the cells will continue and will then bifurcate one to the left and one to the right. These will now be called the left and right bundle branches. And from the bundle branches, they will continue within the apex of the heart, and these cells will now be called the Purkinje fibers. So this is your conduction system of the heart. And when the conduction goes from here all the way to the Purkinje fibers, it will generate a heartbeat. So another concept that we need to review will be the inherent heart rates. When you say inherent heart rates, these are the heart rates that we generate depending on which cardiac cell sends an impulse. So if the impulse starts from the SA node and goes all the way to the Purkinje fibers, this will generate a heart rate of 60 to 100 beats per minute. But if the SA node fails, then the AV node will generate its own impulse, and this will give us a heart rate of between 40 to 60 beats per minute. The AV node and the bundle of His can actually generate a heart rate of 40 to 60 beats per minute. If the AV node or the bundle of His fail, then the left and right bundle branches and the Purkinje fibers can take over, and they're able to generate a heart rate of 20 to 40 beats per minute. Now, in junctional rhythms, the SA node fails. It doesn't fire at all, or it has a weak impulse. This means that the AV node takes place and will generate its own impulse. What this means is that our typical junctional rhythm heart rate would be 40 to 60 beats per minute. And I said typical because if we are out of that range, we will call the dysrhythmia a different name. And we're going to talk about that later on. But for now, let us talk about the characteristics of junctional rhythm. And I already mentioned that earlier. The typical heart rate of junctional rhythms would be 40 to 60 beats per minute. And the reason being is that the SA node failed, hence the AV node kicked in. Another characteristic of junctional rhythm, and this is actually the hallmark characteristic of junctional rhythm, would be the P wave is inverted or absent. This is what a normal EKG looks like. As you can see, the P wave, this is our P wave, QRS, and the T wave. The P wave should be upright and present. But in our junctional rhythm, it would be inverted just like this, or it will be absent. Now, depending on which part of the AV node starts an impulse, you may also have what we call a retrograde P wave, wherein the inverted P wave goes after the QRS complex. Now, let us discuss the different classification of junctional rhythm. These are your junctional rhythm. This is your typical junctional rhythm. The accelerated junctional rhythm, the junctional tachycardia, and your junctional bradycardia. Just a reminder, all of these have the same hallmark sign. It's either the P wave is inverted or absent. The only thing that will differentiate these from one another would be their heart rates. So as mentioned earlier, your typical junctional rhythm will have a heart rate of 40 to 60 beats per minute. If your heart rate will go beyond 60 beats per minute, you will call this accelerated junctional rhythm. Your heart rate is between 60 to 100 beats per minute. You go beyond the typical heart rate of a junctional rhythm, which is 40 to 60 beats per minute. Now, if you go beyond 100 beats per minute, you will call this junctional tachycardia. Just like any other dysrhythmia, arrhythmia. Anything that is above 100 beats per minute, it will be called tachycardia. And finally, if your heart rate is below 40 beats per minute, you will call that junctional bradycardia. Now, there are also other classifications of junctional rhythm, such as the premature junctional complex and the wandering junctional pacemaker dysrhythmia. But I might do that in a different video. But just keep in mind that all of these classifications, they have one thing in common, and that is that the P wave is inverted or absent. That is your junctional rhythms. That is it for today, guys. I hope you guys found the video helpful, and if you haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe button. By doing this, our video will go straight to you. But just don't forget to hit that notification bell button so that you guys get notified if we upload new videos. And for those of you who uses Facebook more than YouTube, we created a Facebook page for you, and we're going to be uploading our videos there as well. So once again, my name is Don Mint, signing out.